A pleasant good afternoon to you from Dale Softball Stadium here in Raleigh, North Carolina. The sun is shining. Unlike for most of the weekend, it has peeked its way through and made for a great day for softball here on the ACC Network Extra. I'm Chris Hooks. Joe D'Arienzo, my broadcast partner here today. NC State coming off a victory 2-1 over UMBC as they get set to end the weekend at 2-0. They'll take on Murray State, who fell earlier this afternoon to UMBC, as Devin Wallace manning the circle, taking on Brenna Fink, as it counts 2-1 to Fink, who enters play as a senior, batting .379 on the year.
Yeah, Fink seems to really be a table setter for this offense. .379, 11 hits this year, all singles.
She'll check her swing there as the count will move to 2-2. Devin Wallace came in and got the save against UMBC as we take a look at the starting lineup for the Murray State Racers out of the Ohio Valley Conference, picked 9th in the league this year. There's a swing and a miss on the drag bunt attempt. Fink strikes out. Wallace gets the first K of the afternoon.
It's a nice start for Wallace. She's really picking up where she left off after the first two pitches of the UMBC game. She hit a batter, then skied one over the catcher as her first two pitches, then picked up 2 strikeouts with the bases loaded and eventually would close that game out.
Jensen Striegel, the center fielder, batting .261 on the year. 4 ribbies. As Devin Wallace, a .278 ERA coming into the contest. Does have a save to her credit. 1-1 the count to Striegel. Murray State again. First time meeting NC State. That one a bit high and away.
This would have been the second time they're meeting NC State if it weren't for the incredibly unlucky weather experience of the weekend.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, you're not in North Carolina, you certainly wouldn't have the
wet.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the impression that jokes were being made about Noah having his arc and the ability to make it go wherever he wanted to go here in North Carolina, as the count's 3-1. A bit of a rough outing at this point on against Striegel. Striegel being very patient at the dish. There's a dial up of a fastball in there for a strike to put the count full as Striegel entering play today. .261.
So far, that outside corner has been Wallace's friend through 2 at-bats.
Striegel fouls that one out of play. And Murray State entering the action this afternoon at 4-7 after its loss to UMBC. NC State 4-6. Broke a 5-game losing streak in the Game 1 win. And Wallace, back-to-back strikeouts. 29 on the year for her. It's Lily Gates, the left fielder that began her college career at Louisville. See if we go back far enough, we may be able to. As that pitch misses.
Yeah, Gates' impressive first campaign with Murray State last year, 300 hitter, 16 doubles on the year.
Nice play over at first by Jessica Moore, and she'll get the 3 unassisted, and Wallace and the Wolfpack work through a 1-2-3. Top of the first. You're watching the ACC Network Extra.
Fans, don't forget to visit the marketing table to pick up your official 2019 NC State softball poster, schedule card, and roster. Be sure to keep your eyes and ears open today for a chance to win prizes throughout the game. And also, every time a Wolfpack hits a home run this season, T-shirts are going to be coming to the stands. So we need you to hear some noise after the Wolfpack hits it out of the park. We want to take home a free T-shirt.
Struck out. No, he flew out.
As we go to the bottom of the first inning, Chris Hooks, Joe DiRienzo here. You're looking at the hero offensively in game one for NC State here this afternoon, Sam Russ. Her first career home run, and it was an absolute bomb. She will face her first pitch of the afternoon from Grace Vaughn. And that's in there for a strike. Chris Hooks and Joe DiRienzo here today. NC State looking to make it 2 straight. As the count even at 1-1, Sam Russ now batting .276 on the year. That one chopped over to the right side. Gilmore, that was close. I think they're going to give her the out. 4-3, the put out, 1 down.
Just barely in the nick of time to get the speedy Sam Russ.
So here comes Bridget Norberg coming up to Post Malone. And there's the play. That looked really close. It was a bang-bang play to begin with. You a Post Malone fan?
Can't say I know very much Post Malone. Not really my
I know
lane.
one person that is, and I know his name is Darren Vaught. Just kidding.
Can't picture that either.
Just kidding. Darren Vaught does a number of NC State games. You'll hear him at some point this year. And now I'm getting really jealous as the count moves to 2-1 as 2 fans walking in front of the press box here are just sat down with 2 big cones of the ice cream that's behind us. 2-1, smashed high. Don't think it's going to have the distance as the wind is blowing in from right field as Logan Braunmeyer will make the catch. 2 down.
Yeah, Norberg just getting under that one, pushing it into right field. So 2 quick outs early on here for Vaughn in the circle.
So Chanley Garner, who did not start earlier today, came in a pinch roll situation, still looking for her first hit of the year. 0 for 10 to start the year, and I think Coach kind of changed some things up on her. Yeah, and certainly saying you got to hit to play, but let's just change it up, see if you can get a different view, vantage point, and see if you can't make something happen here as Grace Vaughn working quickly. She's 0-2 on the year with a 6.39 ERA. And Chanley Garner, chopper right side, easily played by Sierra Gilmore, and both teams get a 1-2-3 first inning as we're scoreless here in Raleigh, ACC Network Extra.
Fans, you want to be sure to visit our concession stand located on the concourse. We got hot dogs, candy, Coca-Cola products, and more waiting just for you.
Louisiana Lafayette.
4, 5, 6 coming up for the Racers. Top of the second. off the top of the second for Murray State.
Welcome back to Dale Softball Stadium here in Raleigh as you're watching the ACC Network Extras exclusive coverage of the weekend events. Mother Nature certainly messing up the schedule as Georgia Southern, the impending weather, forced them to not even make the trip up here. And I don't blame them at all, as Madison Culver fouling off the first pitch, 0-1. Georgia Southern having to make a 6-hour-plus drive from Statesboro. And that's an excuse me swing that'll go to the left side. Chanley Garner calling off Morris for out number 1.
Short for out number 1.
I mean, with the amount of weather that was in the area, and as long as it was, Georgia Southern had an idea of what was coming. They had pretty advanced notice and being like, you know, we're going to sit this one out.
There's the infield for NC State. Going from left to right as you go from top to bottom. As Sierra Gilmore behind the count at 0-1.
Morris and Jones in their same spots as game 1, but Chanley Garner, her first start at shortstop this year. She's played a lot of second base last year. And Jessica Moore getting the start at first base.
You didn't typically see Jessica Moore at first base. From my recollection, she played a lot of catcher. That is not an official. Joe's looking that up right now as the count's 0-2 to Gilmore. Gilmore, the second baseman for the Racers.
2018, she had a set of starts in right field.
Played right field, yep.
2017, second base.
The wonderful softball SID here at State, Lizzie Hattrick, giving me the signal of second base as well. There's a chopper. Gardner easily and smoothly works her way over to make the play.
Would not have guessed that shortstop wasn't the position she's been playing all year long. Really nice left to right, ranging across her body.
Well, and it's, you know, the directions you typically have to move at second and shortstop are opposite.
Right.
You typically, with the amount of righties that are in the game, a lot of the stuff will go left. As here's, actually, I think that is actually not recorded as an out. I think they called. Yeah, it looks like. Looks like Madison Culver and Sierra Gilmore batted out of order. Confusing us here. So Logan Brandmeier at the plate now. So the confusion here is Gilmore hit it over towards shortstop, but I'm imagining that time might have been called and she was retired.
The confusing part was that we did witness two outs. Both at-bats happened.
So there is two pitches. My apologies there. I think they called a no pitch in that one situation. Gilmore did. I think she struck out eventually. So 30 strikeouts on the year now. We apologize. Sometimes it's hard to hear as Logan Brandmeier is even in the count at 2-2. So a no pitch was called on that chopper over towards shortstop. Here's the 2-2. There's just a reach out and an out recorded as again Wallace 6 up, 6 down here in the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've got everything straight here in Raleigh. We're back for the bottom of the second. ACC Network Extra.
All right, fans, now is your last chance to guess what time the fifth inning starts. It will be coming up Enter your guess at the marketing table. The man with the closest guess is going to take home a Wolfpack prize pack. Again, guess what time the 15-inch stretch is going to happen, and you're going to go home a winner. Good luck.
Man, I feel like yelling down the official. Hey, Blue, was that a no pitch?
4, 5, 6 coming up for the pack. Bottom of the second.
Look good.
Leading off the bottom of the second for NC State. Third baseman number 10, Logan Morris.
Bottom of the second inning. We apologize for the confusion in the last frame. I think it was finally ruled, or maybe we just guessed, that it was a no pitch called, as 4, 5, and 6 due up for the pack. Morris, Johnston, and Jones, as Morris quickly up 2-0 in the count. Morris entering the ball game again, batting .214 on the year. She fouls off the pitch. Morris, the sophomore, transferred from USC Upstate. And if folks can remember how good USC Upstate was last year, if you thought Coppersmith was unreal, she will swing and miss at the 2-1. The pitcher for USC Upstate last year came in with like a 1-something ERA, and NC State had to get a late game, as that's fouled off. NC State had to get a late game 2 RBI double by Alyssa Compton to beat Christina Bigstaff. She was unreal. Here's the 2-2 off-speed pitch. Good job there by Logan Morris to sit back on that one if we get to see the replay. Tell me what you see here.
Yeah, you see she had the full stride, foot planted, weight adjusted, and she had to wait and try to get a second look at that pitch. It was an off-speed pitch, and that one, Striegel was easily camped underneath. Not easy to get solid contact on a ball after you're essentially making a second stride at it.
If that had been on pace as far as that went already, she was loaded for bear there. Here's Skylar Johnston. And that counts 2-0. As we look at Johnston on the year thus far, well, Skylar Johnston, first of all, a junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, transferring from Fordham. Here's the 2-0. There's a bounding ball, misplayed by Lindsey Carroll, and that'll be an E6.
First base runner of the game on either side. That one just getting wedged under Carroll's glove as she tried to range over and field that one.
So here's Natalie Jones now to the plate. Natalie Jones changing up her walk-up song. Last time it was Mercy Me, I Can Only Imagine. That's when she ripped the double to the gap in left center field. That went just a bit inside as the count 2-0. I just cannot get over how beautiful it is today and how great the field looks here at Dale Softball Stadium.
It really does look like the field appreciated the water. Certainly got enough of it.
Major props to the field staff here at NC State. There's a hard hit ball left side, could be 2. The 5, the 4, and not the 3. As Jones will head over to second base, diving in for the advancement over to second. So Johnston out 5-4 at second base. Jones on a fielder's choice will reach and advance.
There was a real need for a quick exchange here to try to get that double play. Just throwing a little bit too much into the dirt.
On the E4 throwing as that one lifted right field as Jessica Moore almost got that one over Braunmeyer's head, and that'll do it for the second inning. We're through 2. We're scoreless. 2 errors by Murray State. Still not enough to get the Pack on the board. You're watching the ACC Network Extra.
Seven, 8, 9, coming up for the Racers, top of the third.
Top of the third inning here as NC State and Murray State battling for the first time ever here this afternoon as we wind down our Sunday. NC State again, one game, one of their doubleheader here today against UMBC. Tremendous pitching performance by Sydney Nestor. Sam Russ hit a bomb to right field. And the only other run scored was on an RBI walk. That one crushed on the first pitch. Sounded good as it goes right to Lexi Jones. As Lexi Jones goes right to Nordberg for out number 1.
Yeah, 1 pitch, 1 out, perfectly played there by the right fielder Nordberg. And as you were saying, it was really a pitcher's duel in that first game. Impressive work by Nestor, going almost the full distance and getting the win. But Coppersmith on the other side, 14 strikeouts. It's her second double-digit appearance in strikeouts in 3 as a freshman at UMBC. Promising career to come.
So 1 down. Want to know the count to Lindsey Carroll. The shortstop had an error last inning, but it did not cost the Racers. Here's a chopper. Gardner, rope over to first base. 2 down.
And another nice play there at shortstop by Chanley Gardner. This time the two-handed approach on the grounder really saved her as that last bounce took a slight twist towards her right-hand side, and she almost completely fielded that with her bare hand.
And that pitch just a bit inside. I think that hitter is Denise Teague, the designated player. Took that one a bit high for her liking, I'm sure, as she will reach base.
First now for the top of the order, third baseman number 4, Brenna Fink.
So Brenna Fink back to the plate. She struck out in her first at bat today, and this is the first player for Murray State to reach base as that ends a streak of 8 straight batters to start the ball game, being retired by Devin Wallace.
Certainly a nice start for Wallace, especially after coming in and closing out a full inning in the first game today. Working very quickly here in the third inning so far.
Wallace. Absolutely perfect pitch there on the outside to Fink. With 2 down and a runner on. Trying to shut the door on Murray State here. The Racers out of the OVC trying to salvage a win here today. They will play again tomorrow at 11 a.m. to end the weekend.
Yeah, Murray State and UMBC both facing off for a second time tomorrow, trying to maximize their trip here to Raleigh. Obviously expecting to play a lot more games than they ended up playing.
There's a backhand that gets underneath Chanley Garner. That'll be a base hit.
It's a tougher one to field there at shortstop. Infield was creeping in a little bit, possibly expecting a slap attempt. That one gets between Morris and Garner in the hole.
Yeah, and just I think she was expecting a much bigger hop.
Absolutely.
Gotta hate when that happens. And I'm sure, as wet as the field was, obviously I'm sure it bounces a lot more truer with the conditions of the week. Had it been dry all week, it may have still bounced maybe a tad higher as the count's 0-1 to Strigel. That misses as the count's even. That one blown right by her, and Wallace 1 strike away from getting out of this one unscathed.
And once again, it was that outside corner. Striegel again showing that slap hitting approach, running up on the ball. Outside part of the plate's the hardest part for her to hit.
That high and away there. That's 2-2.
Also, if she does end up making contact on that outside part, Logan Morris so tight in at third base, she would be right on top of any ball that makes contact.
2-2 the count. Infield is in, the corners at least, as that's fouled out. Your umpires today, home plate, Bonnie Day, Eddie Hall down first base, and Donald Purnell down third base. And what's even more interesting, Joe, is this week comes about. It's supposed to be in the 60s, 70s. They're calling for rain again next weekend. Here's the 2-2. And that one misses as the count run full.
That would be 3 straight weekends where a tournament is supposed to be hosted here at Dale Stadium, and 3 straight weekends with rain in the forecast.
Somehow, Carolina baseball played last night. Don't know how.
That took patience.
And that's going to be ball 4, and the bases are now loaded. I know I saw on Instagram the radio guy for Duke was tweeting at 2 a.m. as they had just finished their game. Now, again, Duke playing at Jack Coombs Field, with it being all field turf. They can play in the rain that was happening late. It was a very fine mist. It wasn't very hard. It was just, it wouldn't stop in some places.
Even in that turf, though, not fun to play on a slick surface, ball bouncing completely differently, and then just picking up water.
Imagine they went through a few of those last night, but you got to get them in. Here's the 0-1. They only give you a certain amount of time to get as many games as you can in. As that count to Gates 1-1.
Did manage to look it up. Gates did play a 3-game series here in 2016 with Louisville. She went 5 for 10, a double, a homer, and 7 RBIs.
There's a hard hit ball. Good play by Sam Russ to shut the door. You almost can put that as an L7 in your scorebook. But the threatening situation by Murray State is avoided as a bases loaded situation goes for naught. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Scoreless here in Raleigh on the ACC Network Extra.
Racers takes on your Wolfpack. Softball Stadium. Admission for tomorrow's game is free. So make plans to come out tomorrow at 11 o'clock for your Wolfpack.
Especially softball.
Okay. You're good, you're big, you're full time.
8-9-1 coming up for the Wolfpack, bottom of the third.
I did the whole let you into grad school and you have to take a GMAT. I took 3 classes. I made 2 A's. And I got the D because I was offered a job at Mississippi State. They flew me back home after I accepted it. And I had a test the next day. I didn't study. I got home at 12 o'clock start time. So I read back my tests just accepted.
Leading off the bottom of the third for your Wolfpack. Your catcher, number 44, Kelly Wagner.
Bottom of the third inning. 8-9-1 due up for the Pack. Kelly Wagner, Angie Rizzi, and Sam Russ as Grace Vaughn and the Racers trying to keep it scoreless as they had a little bit of a bases loaded situation. Unfortunately could not come through. They struck first in the earlier game today. It was a hard hit ball that gets through for a single by Kelly Wagner. Good piece of hitting there by the backstop. Her first career hit at NC State.
Nice way to get things going. Nice way to get things going here in the third inning. First hit for NC State in the game. First hit for Wagner in her career.
A freshman from Archdale, North Carolina. That's out towards the High Point, Winston-Salem area. Trinity High School, throw down. Nearly got her on the snap throw over to first base. Got back by the hair of her chinny chin chin. Nice throw by the backstop. And I think a warning has been issued to Lexi Jones.
Yeah, not 100% sure what happened there.
Thinking Lexi Jones probably had something to say to Eddie Hall, and Eddie Hall not a fan of the reaction.
Definitely a very close play there at first base. Nice throw by Culver to nearly get Wagner leaning the wrong way.
So 1-0 is the count. That was a ball to Angie Rizzi. And that one will miss, 2-0. Murray State's not in a situation where they can't let that affect them. And Vaughn's done a nice job through the first 2 innings. But NC State, if they get some opportunities, they'll take advantage of it. And that's in there for a strike. Rizzi wasn't necessarily confident in swinging at that one. She did check at it.
Another one of those interesting changes between years. Rizzi was lefty all season long in 2018, slap hitting approach. See her offering a lot of bunts in this at bat, but she is free swinging in 2019.
And time is called as the coach for Murray State coming out and talking things over. Grace Vaughn getting a little frustrated here as the count is 3-1. I look away and Vaughn having to be talked to, calm down.
It's only the third inning. We've already had 2 or 3 instances where neither of us quite know exactly what's happening in this game.
And that'll be ball 4. So just like that, NC State answering. No outs and runners on. First and second. They get back to the top of the lineup now for Sam Russ.
Devin Wallace able to get out of the jam that started with her hit by pitch in the top half of this inning. See if Vaughn can do the same. No outs, runners on first and second.
I went outside. And for a second, I was wondering why Bonnie Day had made his way down the base path and looked like he was looking over at first base as Russ lifts that one. That is gone! Her second home run of the afternoon. Sam Russ may be the leadoff hitter, but she's certainly cleaning things up for the Pack this afternoon. 3-run shot, NC State ahead.
Talk about an added home run mindset for NC State. Russ with no homers in all of last season, 2 in 1 day against UMBC and now Murray State.
So Sam Russ with her 4th RBI of the year. As Grace Vaughn looks on, and you could see the frustration for Murray State has cost them in that situation.
I think you can definitely trace that back to the frustration on the bang-bang play at first base, and that was followed by a questionable strike call maybe that seemed like it got them going a little bit. Not able to corral their emotions, and 3-run homer by Sam Russ.
Looks like Lizzie Hattrick may have some work as far as nominating someone for ACC Player of the Week. Here's the 1-0, fouled off. That tells you talk about Coppersmith's performance. She got Pitcher of the Week in the America East as Nordberg shot one off the glove of Sierra Gilmore, as that'll be a base hit.
Very nearly another great example of just being in the right place at the right time and taking a great hit and turning it into an out, but just doesn't squeak out of the glove of Gilmore.
Now again, what I say is not the official call. I'm not the official scorer, as SID is obviously, so we await for her confirmation. And it is going to be a hit. As Chanley Garner looking for her first hit of the year. She entered play this afternoon. 0 for 10. I would say she's due for one. That one's down the pipe, strike 2. As the Pack now with 2 hits in the frame. They lead at 3-0. Can Chanley Garner get her first hit of the year? Got her. 3 pitches and she's out, as Garner has struck out for the 6th time this year. First strikeout of the day for Grace Vaughn, her 6th of the year.
And for Garner, it's an 0 for 11 streak now, but every player on this field is going to have an 0 for 11 streak. Hers just happened to come at the start of the season.
There's a fake throw by Madison Culver. That was fouled straight back. Again, Culver, a first-team All-OVC catcher last year. Just 5 errors and 195 putouts. There's a wild pitch as it bounced on its way in. That'll find Bridget Nordberg over at second base with 1 out. And the count 2-1 to Logan Morris here in the 3rd.
Nordberg was moving on the first pitch to Chanley Garner attempting a hit and run, so finally made it over to second base.
That one stays outside. You want to talk about an Iron Man of Murray State. 52 games started and played as that pitch nips Logan Morris, and she will reach base. And now runners are at first and second, one out for Skylar Johnston, who reached on an error her first time up.
And for NC State, after what was an incredibly slow pitching affair for the offense, 3 runs now in the 3rd inning, 2 more runners on base looking for more.
Grace Vaughn having some issues as far as finding her spots as that pitch misses. 1-0 as Natalie Jones due up. Time called. And Vaughn came in with a 6.68 ERA, 0-2 on the year. She had just thrown 14 2/3 innings. Opposing hitters were hitting .400 against her entering play today. Johnston rips that one foul and out of play. And last weekend, NC State played Nebraska and Wisconsin in the ACC Big Ten. Was not able to get a win. All the games were close. Here's the 1-1. And it'll be a double steal. As that pitch missed, so the count 2-1 now to Skylar Johnston.
Like the aggressive base running by NC State, trying to scrape across a couple more runs in this inning, getting rid of the double play.
As Johnston gets under the glove of the shortstop Carroll, and 1 run will score. That throw gets away, and that'll allow Skylar Johnston to move up on the error by the throw. Morris over to third. Johnston single, advanced to second on the throwing error by Lily Gates.
I actually like the throw by Gates. I think it made a lot of sense to try to get the runner over at third base. Logan Morris was hesitant to go because Carroll almost had that ball at shortstop.
4th run plated by the Pack here in this frame. Natalie Jones. That's left side. What a grab by the shortstop Fink. As Lexi Jones stays on the bag. 5-3 the put out in your scorebook at home. 2 down as Jessica Moore will come to the plate.
And importantly for Murray State, everybody stays where they are on the base paths. It was a hard hit ball by Natalie Jones, cut off nicely by Fink.
And Jessica Moore was 1 for 4 as the senior tries to get her second hit. High fly ball. It's deep. It is out of here. Jessica Moore put it on the board. Pack. As that puts the Pack well ahead in this one.
You talk about putting a charge into a ball. Jessica Moore had a nicely hit ball in the 2nd inning. That one left Dale Stadium in a hurry.
That was go ahead.
For her 3rd career home run.
3rd career home run, 1st of the year. That was a 3-run shot. 7 runs by the Pack here in the frame, and we got a new pitcher in the ball game. We'll tell you who it is when we return. 7-0, Pack lead it here in the 3rd.
"13 innings on the year for Van Dyke. She's given up 11 runs, 8 of those earned.
That one chopped down the left side as the Pack have batted around in this one.
Great for them, but now the scorebook looks a little confusing. Got to start crossing off innings.
So Kelly Wagner led it off with a single. 2 down. She'll hit it hard left side. It's kept in front by Carroll, as that was a hard hit ball and another hit for Kelly Wagner in the frame. And I think they called it. And so they will call it an infield hit here. Angie Rizzi now to the plate. She walked and scored on Sam Russ's 3-run shot.
You have to be specific. 2 different 3-run homers in 1 inning.
So here's Rizzi, 0 for 0 today. Count is 1-1 to her. NC State exploding here in this 3rd inning. showing their ability to use the long ball. And 2-1 the count. Coach Patrick Swift certainly coming in and changing a mindset for this program. Here's the 2-1. She turned St. Francis into a extremely competitive program in the NEC.
And not only that, in her final season, St. Francis led the NCAA in home runs.
And that one off the glove of Van Dice. And she'll get the 1-3 put out as the Pack scores 7 runs, and they lead it 7-0. A touchdown. The Pack lead it as we're back for the 4th inning here on the ACC Network Extra.
And don't forget to pull out your mobile phone and like the NC State softball page on Facebook. Also follow the team on Twitter at Pack Softball and on Instagram at NC State Softball. Keep up with the latest news, behind-the-scenes looks, and ways to win prizes throughout the season. Four, five, six coming up for the Racers, top of the 4th. Leading off the top of the 4th, Racers catcher number 24, Madison Culver.
4, 5, and 6 due up for Murray State here in the top of the 4th, but the Pack literally packed a punch with 2 3-run dingers in the bottom half of the frame as Madison Culver fouls off the inning's first pitch. And Culver, Ohio Valley Conference catcher, popped out to shortstop her first time up. It was more or less over towards third base. See if she can't get the offense going for Murray State. High on that one as we see a count even in a ball and a strike. That's amazing. An error here or there, or a mistake here or there by somebody in baseball, how a good team, or even softball obviously, can really just put you behind the 8 ball very quickly. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And you can see how it compounds on itself in innings when you're facing a good team that really can take advantage of a slight mishap like that.
Culver pretending to bunt here with the count at 1-2. She'll pull back. And the count is even at 2-2. That usually a lot of times in softball they'll do that to just bait you into throwing it away. As Culver entering play in game 2 for them today. 355 on the year, 11 hits and 31 at-bats prior to this game. 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. That's not going to have the distance. Running in to make the catch, Bridget Norberg for out number 1.
Nicely done by Norberg. Looked for a minute like it was going to be her and Natalie Jones converging, but plenty of room. That was definitely the right fielder's ball. Much easier for her to make that catch.
So here comes Sierra Gilmore, the sophomore from Williamsburg, Indiana. Played and started in all 52 games last year with a .263 average. Swinging and missing at that 101.
See if we can get a more straightforward appearance from her at the plate. Last time she both grounded out to shortstop and struck out. Not really sure what happened there.
And we are sure that it was called a no pitch. Well, we were never really confirm that. Either way, it's 0-1. It's one of the 7 mysteries of the world. 1-1 the count to her. Gilmore again recorded 10 multi-hit ball games. Was an Easton NFCA All-America Scholar athlete. And then turned in a 5 RBI with a home run against Kansas last year. She's worked the count in her favor at 2-1 here. She struck out again, like Joe mentioned. As NC State leading 7-0, looking to get the doubleheader sweep of Murray State and UMBC. 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
And for Murray State here, when you see a 7-spot put up by the other team, it's easy to get that in your head and think, oh, we've got to get all of these runs back. With 4 innings left, really, you just need a couple at a time. It's interesting to see what the mindset will be in the closing of this game.
That one well outside as the count runs full. Payoff pitch. Wallace. She'll twiddle the ball on her waist. Fouls it off. And I know every pitcher has their own little technique, has their own little, kind of like basketball with a free throw, their own routine. If you watch Wallace, she'll take the ball out of the glove, and then you can see her spinning it in her hand right up against her hip. 3-2. Chopper. Morris guns her out over at first base. 5-3, 2 down.
It's a good at-bat there by Gilmore, staying alive 7 pitches, but in the end, Morris about as close to a room service hop as you can get. Now the 400 hitting Logan Brondemeyer.
Brondemeyer 0 for 1 today with a pop out. One and 0 to the count to her. She was the final out of the second inning. She'll foul off that pitch as the count evens up. And Brondemeyer, sophomore from Aviston, Illinois. Started 26 games last year. 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run to her resume, as she will see the count now at 1-2. Against Tennessee State last year, nearly got the cycle with a double, triple, home run and 3 ribbies against Tennessee State. So she's an up-and-coming right fielder for Murray State. That excuse me swing will trickle right over to Jessica Moore, and the Pack gets their third 1-2-3 inning of the day. We go to the bottom of the 4th. NC State leading this one 7-0 here in Raleigh.
All right, fans, I'm welcoming a beautiful and talented Miss Madison to the press box here. Madison will be today's Wolfpack announcer of the game. She's going to be announcing the Wolfpack lineup in the top of the 4th inning. Welcome to the box, Madison.
As we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, we start at the top of the NC State lineup. Sam Russ, already 2 home runs on the afternoon, as Russ hit a 3-run blast, or last at bat in the third inning, as Russ now batting .290 on the year. 4 RBIs, 1 triple, 2 home runs. Hard hit ball, laced right to the shortstop. Carroll gloves it cleanly, throws it over, got it.
Just in the nick of time to get Sam Russ. Really nice play by Carroll at shortstop. Stopping that one hopper from getting past her. That could have rolled all the way to the wall. Who's telling where Sam Russ would have ended up?
So here comes Nordberg to the plate, singled and scored in that third inning. Another hard hit ball. Carroll, no wasted time there, as she'll get the second out of the frame easily on Nordberg.
Carroll has had a handful of difficult balls hit to her. It's nice to get back on track, have these 2 6-3 putouts in a row to her favor.
And here's Chanley Garner looking for her first hit of the year, swinging and missing, 0-1 the count. And Garner 0 for 12. She's not even reached base. She has no walks this year. There's a good eye there. I think one thing for her is just to get on. I can imagine as a former player what I would be going through. Again, these young ladies play at a high level. Here's another hard chopper. There's a throw over, not in time. And Chanley Garner reaches base for the first time this year. And you could see a sigh of relief from her on the infield hit.
Nicely done by Garner getting on base. I mentioned the 2 easier plays. This one, Carroll had to field in the outfield grass, essentially, to try to get a fieldable hop. Really long throw, no real chance to get Garner.
So Garner on for the first time, as Logan Morris will find herself ahead of the count at 1-0. Morris was hit by a pitch in the third, that 7-run third. She flew out to center field in the second. Swing and a miss at that offering, as the count will even up. One and one. Drilled foul. And that flew by one of our cameramen.
Call that a wake-up call.
Yeah, he didn't have to move or anything, but it certainly went in his direction. Here's the 1-2. That's high and away, as Madison Culver pump fakes as if she's going to throw down. Foul balls go out of this park on that side and break back windows. There's the throw down. That's nobody home, as Chanley Garner will get the stolen base. That's a situation where someone has to talk, and there's a time called. And they're going to say the runner left early, and so that'll be an out recorded. And so Logan Morris will come up in the 5th inning for NC State. We go to the top of the 5th, 7-0. NC State leads it.
now, top of the fifth for Murray State. First baseman number 14, Lexi Jones.
Top of the fifth inning, Lexi Jones will start us off here at Dale Softball Stadium for Murray State. As Devin Wallace continues her excellence in the circle. Chris Hooks, Joe D'Arienzo here. A little breeze from right to left here at the stadium. As Lexi Jones makes another look back towards home plate umpire. Bonnie Day on that strike call. She's been very opinionated here this afternoon. Not somebody you necessarily want to argue with. Here's the 0-2, and she will go down on 3 straight pitches as Devin Wallace records her first strikeout since the second inning.
And you mentioned it, she looked back again after her third strike call on the swing.
That's a no-no. As Wallace continuing to look sharp out there for the Wolfpack. That one fouled and out of play. Now, I guess the one reprieve for folks this year is behind the first base dugout. They're doing some construction, and so no cars are necessarily parking in that area. So, Joe, your car will not get hit this year.
No, I parked my car very safely in a deck. No foul balls can get there.
If it gets there, as Lindsey Carroll's 0 for 1 today, if it gets there, we're in trouble.
Right, that's the I'm not even mad, I'm impressed.
As Wallace deals that one, missing 2-1. And the Pack 7-0 on the heels of the 7-run third inning, and that may be all they need to finish this one out and put their record at 5-6 on the year, with a chance to end the weekend on Monday with a win to even their record, as Lindsey Carroll has found herself ahead at 3-1. Head coach for Murray State, Kara Edmondson, looking on. There's the 3-1. That'll be ball 4. One interesting major change that I've noticed is NC State changing dugouts. They used to be down the third base line as the home team in college, both baseball and softball. You get to pick what dugout you get to be in. NC State in the first base dugout, which to me, smart because you don't get the sun.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Probably 10 degrees cooler.
Right, when you're playing in April, late April, early May, they're going to very much appreciate that. Plus, sun's out glaring in your eyes at the beginning of the year.
You can see the coaching staff all going out to talk to their infielder. That's Patrick Swift. And Chelsea Wilkinson, the former Georgia star, the pitching coach. She's the pitching coach, but Coach Patrick Swift is the one who makes the pitching calls. Kind of like she's the offensive coordinator, so to speak, or defensive in that situation. Chelsea Wilkinson as the pitching coach from Taylorsville, North Carolina. Here's the 1-1. Why does that ring a bell? Why does that matter, Joe? Taylorsville, North Carolina is home of Alexander Central High School, who is one of the top softball programs in the state of North Carolina. They've won all kinds of state championships. Swing and a miss as the count's 2-2 to Denise Teague. If You look at their softball facility, it is absolutely gorgeous.
As you heard there were a lot of fans that was strike 3.
That one fouled off.
Denise Teague trying to stay alive. Really didn't get a very long first look at Wallace. She was hit on the first pitch she saw back in the 3rd inning.
Here's the full count pitch. Teague fouling it back.
Teague, one of the 7 freshmen on this team for Murray State.
And foul it off again. I was looking in my scorebook, and it might not be in this one. I actually was fortunate enough to call a Alexander Central state championship game. I think it was before this book. This is my second scorebook, the Bob Carpenter one.
Those are tough to run
And
through.
I think Chelsea was the pitcher. I could be wrong.
You're going to have to go digging back in the archives for that one.
I would have to. I need to go find it. Here's the payoff pitch to Teague. That one fisted. Gardner. It's the 6, the 4. Not in time. They will get the force out at second base, though. Carroll retired, so there's 2 down. A good play by Chanley Garner on the slow roller. That was a very hard play for them to get Teague. He just had to make certain they got the 1.
Yeah, really difficult to turn to is the 100 hopper over towards shortstop. Teague with the 9 pitch at bat.
So 1 down, or rather 1-0, the count. 2 down in the inning as we're back to the top. Brenna Fink.
Fink, the career record holder for most triples for the Racers. She hit double digits.
So when she hits one to the gap,
I know it's
can
coming.
you literally say she's on her horse? And then
I was going, she's off to the races.
Yeah, off to the races. Down the stretch they come.
Can only imagine if you called Murray State games how many horse racing puns there would be.
You know what? I would venture to say probably not as many, because people up there probably would not. They probably like roll their eyes to it. I will say if you see some other pictures on Murray State's website, they have on their helmets the design that you see on some of the riders, the checkered flag look you see on some of the riders in the Kentucky Derby. You know how they have different signs for each horse. And there was a series that Louisville was here years ago when the Kentucky Derby was going on later that day, and I went through the entire field. Here's the 2-2 missing. I know people here in this press box will never forget it either. Full count. There was a horse a few years ago that was blind in one eye.
I remember that. Unluckily drew the 1 pole.
And there's a weak chopper. And an unbelievable throw, but not in time, as Fink will reach base on the infield hit. But Chanley Garner gave it a run. Watch this throw, Joe.
It was an impressive throw, but you see right there why Fink is the leadoff hitter, why she's tied for, she's the career record in most triples. she really moved down that line in a hurry.
Well, and I wonder, too, this is nothing that Logan Morris did wrong. But Logan, I think, making a move towards that ball certainly threw Gardner's timing off.
And that makes sense. If you were charging dead on, she would have a slightly better chance of getting that. I really do think Fink would have been safe no matter what.
I certainly do not disagree with you there. So it looks like we've got a new batter to the plate for Murray State. Danielle Walls, the new hitter. Sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, batting for Jensen Striegel. Her count is 1-0.
Nice off-speed pitch there by Wallace.
So Wallace changing things up. And Walls. This season, 1 for 4, a run scored, 3 RBIs, 3-run homer on the year. So 1-2 the count here to Danielle Walls. There's the pitch, hard hit right side, and Natalie Jones fields it cleanly. And the Pack avert danger, keeping Murray State off the board here in the 5th. Pack up 7-0. We're coming down the stretch here in this one in Raleigh.
All right, fans, it's time to get on your feet. It's the 5th-minute stretch. Great job, everybody. Leading off the bottom of the 5th for your Wolfpack, it's your third baseman, number 10, Logan Morris.
Out of the home half of the 5th inning here in Raleigh, Logan Morris back to the plate. She was at the plate when Chanley Garner left the base early, as Amber Van Dice throws the first pitch of the frame for a strike. Van Dice, she'll miss there, as Grace Vaughn had to be removed from the game. In 2 2/3 innings, she allowed 5 hits, 7 runs. They were all earned. 1 walk and 1 strikeout, 1 wild pitch. She faced 16 batters, gave up 4 extra base hits. Correction, 2 extra base hits, both being home runs, as Logan Morris fouls off the 2-1 pitch.
Those 7 runs, all 1 inning of work for the Wolfpack. So other than that, it's been a quiet game on both sides.
Morris, hard hit ball left side, Lindsey Carroll, routine play, 1 down.
Now batting, number 34.
Carroll has had a lot of work over there at short, and she's shown why she may be one of the better shortstops in this OVC. Now here comes Skylar Johnston. Reached on an error in the 2nd, singled and advanced on an error in the 3rd inning. She'll take the first pitch. That'll be for a ball, 0-1, or rather 1-0. 2-0 the count. That one missing there. That's in there as the 3-0 pitch finds the strike zone.
Opportunity for Johnston to swing freely on this one. 3 balls, 1 strike.
There's a hard hit ball right field, carrying all the way off the top of the wall. It caroms off the wall, and Johnston will take the 1-out double. As Skylar Johnston nearly took that one out of the park, Johnston records her 2nd double of the year.
That was about 6 inches away from being a home run. Just underneath the line at the top of the fence.
They're going to have a pinch runner here. And the pinch runner, April Visser, the freshman from Utah.
Batting for the Wolfpack, second baseman number 12, Natalie Jones.
So here's Natalie Jones. Jones reached on a fielder's choice, advanced on an error, and grounded out. Thought better of swinging at that one as the count moves to 1-0. Thought better of swinging at that one as well, 2-0.
Good eye on that low outside part of the plate. Keeping disciplined.
And a lot of players for State with that open stance. Same thing there, different result as the count moves to 2-1. Jessica Moore due up next. That's in there, 2-2.
Van Dice only throwing exclusively to that outside corner against Natalie Jones. See if she changes things up here now that she's got 2 strikes.
Outside, full count awaits Natalie Jones. Payoff, chopper, and they're going to put a rundown on. Here's Visser sliding back, and it's dropped by Murray State. As like Sierra Gilmore had a problem with that.
Tried banging that tag down a little bit too quick. Ball didn't quite get into the glove yet.
And there's a possible double play ball, and that goes off of the head of the runner for NC State, and she is down.
I actually think that Natalie Jones may have got her hand on that before it hit her in the head.
And she seems to be okay as the player, Lindsay Carroll, and Sierra Gilmore and she looks like she's okay. So the run did score, I believe.
Oh no, I was wrong. That was through the middle of her hands.
And now they're trying to figure out, I think they're going to call her out.
For raising her hands. That might be. It's either that or a discussion about whether or not the run scores.
And we'll see what they're calling here. I'm not quite sure. And now they're going to talk things over. Because it looks like Visser did come around to score. As the facial expression from the...
It looks like they're calling it a double play by Murray State's reaction. They're walking off the field, so it looks like they're going to call runner's interference from her raised hands.
I don't know if you, well, I see by the rule that may be interference, but I think she was trying to protect herself.
I would agree with that.
And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to call it runner's interference. The run will not score. And again, we're still trying to figure out what.
So undoubtedly, 4-6 on the putout. And from there is where the confusion begins. The throw coming to first.
Either way, we'll be back in a second.
The interference is called on the runner from first to second, so we'll get the double play. That'll end the inning. Run does not score. That'll end the bottom of the fifth for the Wolfpack. Your attention, please. Now pitching for your Wolfpack. Number 18, Kayla Woodall. Coming up for the Racers, top of the sixth.
So the official call was a 4-6 putout at second base where Natalie Jones was retired. And then Jessica Moore was called out via runner's interference on Natalie Jones.
Yeah, as you take a look at the replay here, Carroll coming across the bag obviously makes this throw, and it is lower than anticipated, but you see the raised hands there. Slightly, in our opinion, self-defense, but nonetheless, interference called. Runner out at first base. No run scores. Still 7-0 as we enter the top of the sixth.
So Jones is okay. Russ and company. So that's what they came away with. As we're now in the top of the sixth inning, Lily Gates will lead it off for the Racers as Striegel is back in center field for Murray State. Lily Gates 0 for 2 today. As new pitcher in the ballgame for NC State, Kama Woodall.
5 2/3 innings on the short season so far. Already given up 5 earned runs, 7 hits.
Woodall pitched a boatload of innings last year. There's the 1-0. Gates sees the count even at 1-1.
And really for Woodall, those 5 runs, 4 of which came against Illinois State in one game. Her last time out against Nebraska. Nice 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run.
1-1 missing. 2-1.
And like you said, she was a mainstay in the circle for the Wolfpack last year, alternating essentially all season long with Devin Wallace.
7 complete games last year, which was second on the team. And this time last year, combined with Brittany Nemo to no-hit Wagner. There's the 2-2. That's fouled back. And Woodall, again, 9-11 record overall, 33rd appearance. She pitched 111 in a third innings throughout her career. 70 strikeouts to just 42 walks throughout her NC State career. She's got a full count to Lily Gates, though, to start off the 6th inning. And here's the payoff. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 71 in her career.
Nice way to start her outing out this afternoon.
Fourth K of the year for her. So 1 down. So NC State trying to keep the shutout as Madison Culver 0 for 2 today, fouls it straight back.
Almost had that one.
It was coming right for us.
NC State saw their shutout end with 2 outs in the 7th inning in game 1 today. They were barely holding on 2-1. She ran runners on 2nd and 3rd against UMBC.
There's Woodall firing it in outside. And Kama Woodall, the sophomore from Spring Hill, Florida. One and one to count again. Here's the pitch. That's drilled. Left field. Out of here. Madison Culver puts a charge into that one, and Murray State on the board finally. And she had already recorded 2 flyouts as she makes her way in 7-1 as Culver mashes that one out of here.
And that was a no-doubter off the crack of the bat. That's home run number 3 for her on the year. The only one in the starting lineup today for Murray State with a long ball.
So here comes Sierra Gilmore to the plate.
And just as we mention it, the shutout goes.
There's the offering. That one on the inside half of the hands on Gilmore.
Culver, that her 3rd home run, already matching last year's total on the whole season, the season where she was first team all-conference.
And that one will hit her. So Gilmore reaches.
Believe that hit a fold of her jersey as she dove out of the way.
Now batting right fielder number 8, Logan Brommeyer.
Logan Braunmeyer, 0 for 3 today. Seeing her average now at 379 this year. Runners on for her. She's batting .429. She was 10 of 29, or she is 10 of 29 on the year. Excuse me, swing fouled off as the count now 0-2.
Pretty rare to have your average drop to 379 in a game. 407 entering the game.
That's what we call a hot start. There's Woodall. There's a double play ball that goes right to the new shortstop for the Pack. And that new shortstop again, April Visser. Comes in for Garner. A little bit of a low throw and everybody stays put. So the 1-6 put out at second base. Ronmeyer reaching on the fielder's choice with 2 down now. Here's Lexi Jones, ball 1.
It almost looked like on that fielder's choice, Woodall was unsure of if she was throwing to second or first base because there was such a long delay for the shortstop getting there. I think otherwise would have been an easy 1-6-3 double play.
Well, Visser's playing deep in the hole. I can see why it took her so
long way to go.
And that's not to disagree with what you're saying. You're certainly were there. I mean, she had to wait for him. And Visser showing her skill at shortstop for Jennifer Patrick Swift. Here's the 1-1. And that one changing speeds a little bit as the count now 1-2. As Lexi Jones 0 for 2 today for Kara Admondson's squad. And here comes the fake bunt as it's pulled back. That one fisted left side, tracking down in foul territory, making the catch is Logan Morris. And Jones is retired on the FF5, and the Pack, even though Madison Culver hit the home run, the Pack shut it down after that. We go to the bottom of the 6th. NC State on top 7-1 here in Raleigh.
2019 football season tickets are on sale now. The Pack will be hosting East Carolina, North Carolina, defending national champion Clemson, and more. All at Carter Finley Stadium this fall. Purchase your tickets. Just go to gopack.com/FB tickets. Get yours today.
As we move to the bottom of the 6th inning here from the Curtis and Jacqueline Dale Softball Stadium, 8, 9, and 1 are due up for NC State. As Joe mentioned during the break, Chanley Garner, now the designated player, as April Visser has moved to shortstop. So Skylar Johnston done for the day. As Kelly Wagner down the count 0-1. There's a hard hit ball left side, base hit. Kelly Wagner, 3rd hit of this ball game.
Came into the game looking for her first hit of the season, and she got right to work.
As Wagner leads off with the single to the left side, and now Angie Rizzi. 2 for 19, 3 for 20. As she rakes one to the right side. Back-to-back hits for the Pack, puts runners on first and second, nobody out.
Really nice opposite field hitting there by Rizzi as well, just putting that one over the second baseman into right field.
So Sam Russ, who is 1 for 3 with a 3-run bomb. Another chance here to make it a second 3-run bomb for her. As time is called. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here. Or will we? And here it comes. Looks like Brittany Nemo will be the pinch runner for Wagner. And here's the 3-run shot by Russ that put the Pack on the board 4-1, 4-0 rather, as there's a diving attempt. That was the 3-run shot that happened in the 3rd inning. The first home run was the home run earlier today against UMBC that put the Pack up 2-0.
Showing off that pull power and opposite field power as well, launching that second home run, the one in this game, over the left center field wall.
So Sam Russ, 1-1 count, dangerous bat, watches that one outside here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 runners on, 2-1 the count. Pitch on the way. That one lifted. Going to fall in no man's land. There's the throw to third. Got the force over at third as Nimmo did exactly what she was supposed to do. And so that'll be a 7-5 put out over at third base as Russ will reach on the single.
Unlucky for that one to be a fielder's choice. Nothing they could do, though. Carroll.
I don't know if that's a fielder's choice because that was a hit to the outfield.
I still think you call it a fielder's choice because the runner was out on a force. I think this is one for the double-checking a rule book.
There's a hard hit ball right side. That's going to get through the glove of Braunmeyer. Here comes one as Rizzi scores. And Russ scores as Bridget Nordberg makes it 9-1, and Nordberg comes up clutch here in the 6th.
That was a beautifully hit ball. Absolutely scorched down the right side. And what a way to end it for the Wolfpack.
And the Pack will run rule the Racers by the final score of 9-1 on the 2 RBI hit by Bridget Nordberg to put their record at 5-6 on the year, with an opportunity to even their record and go 3-0 on the week.
And a nice way to end it for the Pack. 9 runs on 10 hits here in the second game of the doubleheader. Kama Woodall closing things out for Devin Wallace, who had a great showing earlier in the ball game.
For color analyst Joe DiRienzo, Chris Hooks saying so long here from Raleigh. NC State wins it 9-1 over Murray State. To watch the entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.